We're going to look at a few examples of what lowering the filter looks like, and it's especially useful to see this at the beginning of conversations because that's when most people do not know what to say. So in this example, it's on Tom Bilyeu's Impact Theory. Again, huge thanks to Tom. He gave us permission to use his content in this course. On Impact Theory, he just started to say hi to Gary Vaynerchuk. He invited him on the show. He's here now, and just watch how they flow into conversation as Gary lowers the filter.
It's good to be here.
Dude,
Thanks.
It's good to have you, man.
Nice to have some peeps in the audience. I always like that a little bit better.
Again, that's just a simple observation. They don't know what to say. He just goes, oh, I noticed there's people. It's nice that there are people in the audience. It's just not you and I in the camera. That is a lowered filter. It's not necessarily leading anywhere specific.
You and me both, yeah. So play right to them. I mean, in many ways, this is for them. This all started originally back with Inside Quest. It was all about doing something for the...
And you see Tom picked up on that, right? He riffed off of why we have this audience here, and then it reminded him of something, so now he's going.
Employees.
Yep.
And I had this unending terror, because I have these 25 bullet points I think anybody should be living by. And I was terrified people would memorize them, but not actually live by them, which is like the death sentence. Because you think you're doing something, right? You pacify yourself by memorizing it. So yeah, I love having people here and getting feedback.
It's funny you just said that.
And this is such a common phrase. It's funny you just said that. People do that, it reminds them of something, and now they're talking. And really, this is just to show you examples of what it might look like when you lower the filter in your own life. Saying it's nice to have an audience here isn't a brilliant way to start a televised interview, but it's led them into something, and we'll just take a quick look at what Gary says here.
I think so many people are keyboard activists, right? Everybody's good at sending a tweet.
And now he's into it. For one other example, we've already seen this, but I mentioned I was going to come back to it because so much is happening here. Check out Mel Robbins on Lewis Howe's podcast and just watch how she lowers the filter. It doesn't necessarily lead into conversation, but it has a moment of levity.
Mel Robbins, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, can I have a hug?
Very excited.
Oh my God.
So this isn't it, just her saying hi, you know, a very enthusiastic hello, but not necessarily lowering the filter.
This is the first time I've had a Bill Belichick headset on. I feel like I'm going to be calling plays, people. Here we go.
You are.
There you go. That's a playful way to start the conversation. And watch how that does. It reminds me, or you know what, the reason that we do that.
You know, you got to stand out in the podcast world. And not everyone does this.
No.
So it's unique, you know?
No, I thought this was because of your arena football background.
Right? I know. Everyone says that. But for me, I like it because I used to have a mic that would sit on the table. And
And again, it's not that this conversation is necessarily fascinating or more interesting. It's that people oftentimes think that the way you get into conversation is by having a very specific question that you ask that pertains to a topic which you will then discuss. But when you look about how organic conversation develops, it's oftentimes very silly, goofy things that you've noticed that allow the conversation to evolve spontaneously and organically. Just to prove the point that you can start a conversation with just about anything and it can still get to a good place if you use what we're going to discuss in later weeks. But for now, lower that filter.